Do you feel it, man? Do you feel the earth whispering to you beneath your feet? The wind, she whispers to me wicked secrets of the fire, man. There's a war coming, and the snakes. The snakes are gonna rule this world. Fucking copy-paste bollocks. Look, I like Bray Wyatt loads because he's a charismatic carnival act that's been forever inches away from greatness, but it hasn't been an easy career for the third-generation superstar. The Eater of Worlds has had a lot of bitter pills he's had to swallow, and I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and here are 10 things WWE want you to forget about Bray Wyatt. Number 10, his pay-per-view debut. That weird little spasm of babies, maggots, and other things from the My First Horror Film stock footage library. That's how you know Bray Wyatt's around. And that's how he debuted in July of 2013 after weeks of Blair Witch Project sex tapes. And it was pretty cool. He went after Kane, took him out of Money in the Bank, bravely ignored the Husky Harris chants from the asshole crowd. But by and large, all was looking good for the noted Buzzards enthusiast. Then SummerSlam happened. Oh dear. Wyatt and Kane battled in a Ring of Fire match, aka an Inferno match that's too embarrassed to call itself an Inferno match, and it was pretty goddamn shit. At SummerSlam, all eyes were on Bray and his disturbing but exciting new team, and what followed was a cold match, ironic considering all the pyro they were using to desperately make a Kane pay-per-view match in 2013 seem dangerous. It just sort of flopped. No one really cared. Now, Bray would go on to have a run of great pay-per-view matches against Daniel Bryan at the Rumble, The Shield at Elimination Chamber, John Cena at WrestleMania and Payback, but his first one was a misfire. Do you get it? Because fire. Number 9, that goddamn hologram. The inclusion of Bray Wyatt makes most matches better, right? No, but part of Bray's gimmick is that he just sort of turns up. Hello, I'm at your birthday party now and I brought all my weird friends. Sometimes this creates a fun peekaboo moment, sometimes it ruins the out of a great match. The Eater of Worlds and the spoiler of matches did exactly that at Hell in a Cell 2014 and quite possibly one of the worst pay-per-view endings of all time. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins were having a very good Hell in a Cell match indeed when suddenly the lights went out. No Bray, thought everyone. No Bray, don't you do this. The lights came back on after 12 days to reveal a lantern, a hole in the ring, a column of smoke, inside of which was a stupid little hologram. Oh Bray, you made something worse with your vague voodoo bullshit. We should all remember Bray at his eerie cult leader best, and not this, not at his Papa Shango worst. Number 8, Husky Harris was bad. There's no clearer way to admit to a crowd full of people that you're a dickhead than by chanting Husky Harris at Bray Wyatt. But that's the thing, no matter how good Bray is, he will never quite escape the big bone shadow of Husky Harris. After all, this is what Husky Harris looks like. Let's just dissect how bad this is. The awful Dean Ambrose hair, the truly wretched chin strap no moustache combo, the trunks that do precisely nothing to hide his huskiness. Also, his nickname was the Army Tank with a Ferrari engine, or as a military man would recognize that, a broken tank. WWE know by now they can't make you forget about Husky, but they like to forget just how bad he really was. Number 7, Axel Mulligan. So Bray Wyatt has seen Cape Fear, we know that much. His resemblance to Max Cady is startling, both incarnations with De Niro speaking in tongues and Hawaiian shirt and Robert Mitchum's hat. However, it turns out he's also partial to the Friday the 13th franchise, that's hard to say, with his long-forgotten character, Axel Mulligan. Basically, the Husky thing didn't work out because, as we've already established, it was bad, and the man who'd one day be Bray was sent back to developmental territory FCW to retool that Ferrari engine of his. He became Axel Mulligan, aka a heavy dude who wore a Jason Voorhees-style metal hockey mask. The seeds of Bray Wyatt were there in Mulligan, the way he'd drape himself in the corner, scamper erratically around the ring, but the character never saw the light of day, mostly because he was just a dude in a rip-off Jason mask like your deadbeat cousin trying lamely to do Jason for Halloween by rummaging for a mask in the garage and covering it with tinfoil. Number 6, that Bo Dallas is his brother. It's fairly common knowledge amongst the smarts, the feral flying monkeys that I call my demographic, thanks guys, buy a t-shirt, that Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas are brothers, the sons of Erwin R. Shyster. In FCW, they recognize this, calling the two lads the Rotundo brothers, which sounds like a chubbier version of the Mario brothers. However, from NXT onwards, the company seemed determined to make you forget about that fact. Wyatt and Dallas have been treated as two different people with two very different gimmicks, and though Bray and Bo have almost come close to teaming, they had some interactions in May 2015, WWE never pulled the trigger on Mario and Luigi Rotundo, and have since separated them with the brand split, preferring you to forget all about their familial bond. Number 5, Waylon Mercy. So remember Max Cady and how Bray Wyatt is an homage to the crazed Southern Sword of Vengeance? Well, it turns out the big backwards preacher isn't the first superstar to pull on some white pants and talk in riddles. This is Waylon Mercy, a soft-spoken yet distinctly disturbed Hawaiian shirt-wearing, white pantaloon-donning ne'er-do-well portrayed by ring veteran Dan Spivey. Mercy was even more of of a copy-paste of Max Cady, including violent tattoos and no hairy cousins. Now, before people lambast Bray for this gimmick infringement and shout at the Eater of Worlds and make him upset and become the Eater of his feelings, Dan Spivey actually gave Wyatt the idea for the character in the Performance Center. But even so, recycling gimmicks may not be something that WWE want to crow about. Or, I guess, buzzard about. Number 4, the awful Randy Orton special effects. This is a very recent one, so good f***ing luck trying to forget some of the heinous shit that's happened to Randall Orton's head during his otherwise fairly solid feud with Bray Wyatt. So let's run them down. Orton's head has been upside down, then rotated to become right side up. Okay, that's fairly iMovie quality, but still acceptable. Then Orton's face went through Bray's Snapchat filter, doing the whole twisty face thing. That is objectively but hey, the worst is yet to come. Buckle up, buckaroos. On an episode of SmackDown, in 2016 no less, Randall Orton appeared in a promo talking about the devil being in his ear, and then, I do not lie, his eyes flashed red. You know, like the robots in Itchy and Scratchy Land. Terrible business. Just a terrible business. Number 3, he burned his father alive. Bray Wyatt talks a big game. That's sort of the main problem with his character. He talks for days, but he never wins, so his riddles about communing with snakes and talking to caves and a bonfire become just that, a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. So with that being said, maybe he didn't actually murder his own father. Wait, sorry, you forgot about that? Oh yeah, he once boasted about killing his dad with fire. It never made it to the main roster, but way back when the character first started, when he was teaming with Eli Cottonwood, he cut a promo about his dad beating him, right up until the point that Bray set his boat on fire. You naughty little boy. Number 2, the family's terrible booking. Look, here's how wrestling works. You got a tag team or a stable, a group of best friends united by a common purpose, whether that's ruling the NWA like the Horsemen, keeping fat-faced Triple H the champion like Evolution, or something justice like the Shield. When the time comes for that team to go their separate ways, it should be done with as much drama as possible. The amount of time they've spent together building an organic and meaningful storyline. Well, they that up with the Wyatts so much. So what actually happened? Well, the Wyatts were together, then in 2014 Harper sort of went off on his own. Rowan then sort of turned face. Bray wrestled Rowan once, unannounced, on SmackDown. Then they got back together like it wasn't a thing. Then Braun became a thing, and now Bray and Braun are having a Barney, despite Bray not mentioning it before. I mean, it's a goddamn mess, basically, and I know the family are supposed to be mysterious, but that doesn't mean their storyline should make absolutely no sense. And number 1, the worst worked match of 2014. At Extreme Rules 2014, Bray Wyatt picked up the only singles victory he ever got over John Cena in a cage match via the strategic use of a small boy. A small creepy child whose singing was the musical equivalent of being trapped in a confined space with King Ross. Confusing, uncomfortable, and ultimately disappointing. Not only was the ending bizarre, but the match that led up to it was a lethargic mess. At no point did Bray look even slightly a threat to John Cena, and many see this match as the beginning of his slow loss of credibility. Also, just as a shit cherry on the shit cake, the match was awarded the worst work match of 2014 by the Wrestling Observer, putting it on the same level as Caitlyn vs. Maxine, Sting vs. Jeff Hardy, and the Kennel of Hell match. That's one of Bray's 1000 truths he's keen to ignore. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Tell us about it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter here. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and I'll see you soon.